Have you ever faced a storm so fierce, loss, pain, or unanswered questions, that it made you wonder if God had turned away? What if one man's unimaginable suffering held the key to understanding why we endure hardship and how faith can shine even in the darkest night? The story of Job, found in the pages of the Bible, is more than an ancient tale. It's a raw, powerful journey of a man who lost everything, yet clung to God when all hope seemed lost. From sudden devastation to divine restoration, Job's life challenges us to wrestle with suffering and trust in a God who sees beyond our pain. If you've ever felt crushed by life's trials or questioned where God is in your struggles, this exploration will grip your heart and offer a glimmer of hope. Let's dive into the mystery of suffering through Job's extraordinary faith and uncover the truth that can carry us through our own storms. The story of Job begins with an extraordinary introduction in Job 1:1-3. Job was a man of integrity, blameless and upright, who feared God and shunned evil. He was wealthy beyond measure, with thousands of livestock, servants, and 10 children, a picture of prosperity and blessing. But the narrative takes a dramatic turn when we peek behind the scenes in Job 1:6-12. In a heavenly council, Satan challenges God, suggesting that Job's faithfulness is only due to his comfortable life. God allows Satan to test Job, stripping away his possessions, his children, and his health, but sparing his life. In a single day, Job loses his herds to raiders and fire, his children to a collapsing house, and soon after, his body is covered with painful sores. Yet in Job 1:20-21, Job falls to the ground and worships, saying, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." This response sets the stage for a profound journey of faith amidst suffering. Job's initial reaction is remarkable, but his humanity soon surfaces. In Job 2:9-10, his wife, overwhelmed by grief, urges him to curse God and die. Job refuses, replying, "Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" Yet as his pain intensifies, Job's friends arrive, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, intending to comfort him. For 7 days they sit in silence, a rare act of solidarity. But when they speak in Job 4:31, their words turn to judgment. They argue that Job's suffering must be punishment for sin, a common belief in their culture. "Who, being innocent, has ever perished?" Eliphaz asks in Job 4:7. Job defends his integrity, insisting he has done nothing to deserve this. This debate stretches over chapters, revealing a deep human struggle. Why does a good God allow suffering? Job's anguish pours out in raw honesty. In Job 3, he curses the day of his birth, longing for death to end his misery. "Why is light given to those in misery and life to the bitter of soul?" he cries, Job 3:20. His words resonate with anyone who has felt abandoned in pain. Yet amid his despair, Job's faith flickers. In Job 19:25-26, he declares, "I know that my Redeemer lives, and that in the end he will stand on the earth. And after my skin has been destroyed, yet in my flesh I will see God." This is a stunning profession of hope, a belief in a future vindication despite his current torment. Job doesn't understand why he suffers, but he trusts that God remains his Redeemer. The turning point comes when God himself enters the conversation in Job 38-41. From a whirlwind, God speaks, not with answers to Job's why, but with a display of his sovereignty. "Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation?" God asks in Job 38:4. He describes creating the stars, taming the sea, and governing the wild beasts, showcasing his power and wisdom. This isn't a rebuke to silence Job, but an invitation to trust the one who holds all things. Job responds in Job 42:1-6. "I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you." Job moves from hearing about God to seeing him, a shift from intellectual faith to personal encounter. God's response doesn't fully explain suffering, but it reorients Job's perspective. In Job 42, 7 through 9, God rebukes Job's friends for misrepresenting him and restores Job, doubling his possessions and giving him 10 more children. Job lives 140 years more, seeing his grandchildren to the fourth generation. This restoration doesn't erase his pain, but affirms God's faithfulness. The book ends with Job 42:12. The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former part, a testament to divine restoration. Why does suffering happen? The Bible doesn't offer a single answer, but several threads. First, suffering can be a test of faith, as with Job. James 1:2-4 encourages, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." Job's trials refined his trust in God. Second, suffering can result from a fallen world. Romans 8:20-22 describes creation groaning under sin's curse, with natural disasters and human evil as consequences. Third, God can use suffering for a greater purpose. In John 9:1-3, Jesus heals a man born blind, saying his condition was so that the works of God might be displayed in him. Suffering, though painful, can glorify God and shape us. Job's story challenges us to wrestle with God, not against him. In Job 13:15, he says, "Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him." This isn't blind optimism, but a gritty faith that holds on despite unanswered questions. The mystery of suffering doesn't dissolve, but Job shows us it's not the end of the story. God's silence doesn't mean absence. His presence is felt in the struggle. 2 Corinthians 4:17 promises, "Our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." How do we navigate our own suffering? Start with honesty, like Job. Pour out your pain to God, Psalm 22:1. My God, why have you forsaken me?" mirrors Jesus' cry on the cross. Next, seek community. Job's friends failed him with words but succeeded in presence initially. Share your burden with trusted friends or a pastor. Then trust God's character. Romans 8:28 assures, "In all things God works for the good of those who love him." Finally, hold to hope. Revelation 21:4 promises, "He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain." What does this mean for you? Suffering is real, but it's not the final word. If you're in pain, know God sees you. Job 23:10, "He knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold." If you're a believer, support those suffering, offer presence, not just answers. Here's a challenge. This week, reflect on a trial you faced. Write it down, pray for strength, and thank God for one lesson learned. Take action, reach out to someone hurting, or read Job 42. If you're lost, seek a mentor, don't face it alone. Let's close with Job's triumph in Job 42:17. "And so Job died an old man and full of years. His journey ended in peace, a testament to faith enduring suffering." Trust God's plan, lean into his presence, and let Job's story inspire your own walk through the mystery of pain. Subscribe and turn on notifications for inspiring Bible stories and faith-filled wisdom. Comment below. How did this story touch you? Your words can inspire others. Share this video to spread God's hope. Stay tuned for more soul-stirring truths and keep trusting as God's love leads you.